Hello, Animal Kingdom PowerPoint here. Talking about the classification of animals. You have your vertebrates that have a backbone and your invertebrates that do not have a backbone. And we're going to start with vertebrates. You got far more diverse animals than there are of plants. They consist of most complex organisms, consisting of about 2 million species. They are heterotrophic, multicellular eukaryotes that belong in this kingdom, Animalia. They vary in size from microscopic to elephants and blue whales. So it's divided into two groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. I'm going to start off with mammals because that's what we know. Mammals have hair. Females have mammary glands that secrete milk for their young. Warm-blooded, that means the blood they generate, that means that their body generates the heat and maintains the heat in the body. Like you and I, if we're sick, we run a fever. If we get too cold, we shiver to warm ourselves back up. We maintain a body temperature. Cats, dogs, goats, whales, dolphins all do this. Then we're going to talk about the birds. Okay, birds are vertebrates also, but they have feathers, they have beaks and bills they use to get food, lots of different shapes of those. They have a pair of wings that enable them to fly. They are warm-blooded animals, lay eggs, and their young is hatched from the eggs. Then we have the reptile family. Reptiles have thick, dry scales made out of beta-carotene and sometimes calcium carbonate mixed with that to prevent excess loss of water. They are cold-blooded, which means that they maintain the temperature they are surrounded by. So if it's cold outside, they're cold. If it's hot outside, they're hot. And they can still live at many extreme temperatures. Some have 4 legs and some have no legs at all. And here's a picture of a bunch of different type of amphibians. Notice an axolotl there, of course. All right. Amphibians live in water during the early stages of their life and begin to stay on land where they can get enough food later on. Body is covered in a thin, flexible, and usually moist skin. Okay, it's very important that that skin does not dry out or they will die. Their eggs are fertilized externally. The female will lay the eggs and the male will come by afterwards and fertilize them. Okay, perciforms are fish. Fish are vertebrates too. They have scales as body covering. They breathe through gills. They have lungs. Bengus, lapu-lapu, and dalagang bukid are bony fishes. And sharks and rays are cartilaginous fishes. They have cartilage for their bones. Okay, so invertebrates, animals without backbones, are divided into arthropods, which are insect spiders, and crabs. Gynoderms, starfish, mollusks like oysters and clams, annelids like worms, and these are all animals without backbones. Invertebrates, here's some example of arthropods. Here you have your insects. Oh, there's 80% of all living animals on Earth are insects. They have an exoskeleton made out of chitin and sometimes some calcium carbonate. Segmented body parts. The head is the top, of course, the thorax, and then the abdomen. They have paired and jointed appendages or legs. And there can be up to 10 million different species. We have so many that aren't even identified yet. You could discover a new species and name it after yourself. Okay, here are pictures of some different arthropods, such as like this coconut crab we had the video on a couple weeks ago. Here's gynoderms, which are starfish. I sure wish y'all would have gotten a chance to dissect these this year. Their blood, their circulatory system is completely different than ours. They're marine organisms with spiny skins. Greek term for chinos means hedgehog. They feel like a hedgehog. The tube feet and systems of canals in the body that serve as channels for sucking in seawater and obtaining nutrients and releasing from the seawater. Very interesting organisms that these canals circulate the water through the body, such as like our blood vessels do. Then you have the mollusk family. They are soft and they have protective shells sometimes. The beak of an octopus will be hard enough to hurt, that's for sure, but this is part of the mollusca family. Then you have the worms, annelids, Annelida, characterized by ring-like body parts that have segmented bodies. We would have dissected a worm as well. They have a mouth at the front and an anus at the tail. They have hearts and blood vessels that constitute a circulatory system. Who knew, right? Sometimes we could get some 12-inch long worms in and dissect them and try to find their hearts. The simplest worm are the platyhelminths, okay? And they are free-living. Some are parasites, like if you take your dog to the vet, sometimes they'll test for worms. Some are good and some are bad. There's pictures of different types. Some are microscopic, like these. Here's a nematode. Those are also microscopic. Round worms, cylindrical worms with finely tapered tails. The body is covered with a tough, non-living skin that resists drying and crushing. And then you have the cnidarians. You have your spore plants. Okay, they can have tentacles and they have hollow tube-like bodies with a mouth at the end. And then you have poriferans, pore-bearing organisms. They may live singly or in colonies. They eat or by allowing water to flow through their bodies and trapping small organisms in the water using their specialized cells. So SpongeBob is porifera. He's from the porifera family, and these are invertebrates. I have a couple videos here for you to watch. Here at the end of this, I will put the links on for you to see this on your own. You have the complex animals and the simple animals kingdom. And then you have questions to answer. I hope everybody's good. And I will hope to see y'all soon. Everybody stay home. Wash your hands a lot. Be careful.